Welcome you all back to our lesson 3 under general physics. As I told you, all these lessons are public on YouTube this week and next week. So this is a public lesson, and if you are viewing this for the very first time, you may subscribe to my YouTube channel so that each time I upload a new content, you get to be notified. And in this lesson, we are going to talk about simple pendulum. This is what we are going to measure so much. So I'm here to make physics very simple. I'm here to make you understand physics in an easy way. So we are talking about simple pendulum. So under simple pendulum, there are only two things that you need to know and understand. There is what we call period. You need to know and understand what period is. The symbol for period is capital letter T. This is period. So whenever we are talking about a simple pendulum, period is symbolized by capital letter T. This is standing in for period. So how is period then defined? Sometimes you'll be told to define the period of a pendulum. How can you define the period of a pendulum? So this is defined as, so you just say it's defined as the time taken. This is the time taken. So this is just defined as the time taken. So it is the time taken for a complete oscillation. Complete oscillation. This is what you need to know and understand. So whenever we are talking about period is defined as the time taken for a complete oscillation. I believe you know what I mean when I talk about a complete oscillation. Let's say you are having a simple pendulum. Let us look at this. This is a pendulum like this on a surface. Then you've got a bulb here. So this is a bulb like this. So it is moving from here. I can do this. I can do this. I can also do something like this. So if this is A, this is B, and this is C, hope you are able to understand what I'm writing here. So for a complete oscillation, what I mean by a complete oscillation is that from A bulb should be able to move. This is the resting point or the starting point. So it must start from here. It must go to what? It must go to B. From B, it goes to C. From C comes back to B. From B comes back to A. This is what we call a complete oscillation. So it is called a complete oscillation. So what is a complete oscillation? A complete oscillation in this format, we say that is where a bulb moves from A to C and back to A. This is what I mean when I talk about a complete oscillation. Hope you are able to get this. Hope you are able to understand. So period is a time taken for a complete oscillation. So time taken for a complete oscillation when it moves from A to C and back to A. So it moves like this, then comes back to where it started from. That is a complete what? A complete oscillation, which we are calling period. So there is a formula that we get to use each time you are told to calculate the period of a pendulum. So what is the formula? Like I've told you, capital letter T is representing period. So period is equal to T, small letter t over N. This is the formula that we get to use. And this is the formula that you need to know and understand. So like this now, where T, have you seen this T, small letter T? Small letter T is what? what is small letter t? Small letter t is standing in for time. So time taken for n oscillations. So small letter t is time taken for n oscillations. This is what you need to know and understand. Then we move to the n. What is the n there? N is standing in for what? N is what? N is the number of oscillation. Number of what? Number of oscillation. This is what we get to mean. Number of oscillation. So this is what we mean. Then the t, as usual, we know t, the one we are finding, which is what? Period. So period is measured in what? Seconds. This one is in seconds. We go to small letter t, time taken for n oscillation. It is also in seconds. Then the number of oscillation, it is a number. So these are the three things that you need to know and understand on this formula. So this is the first part that we've covered. Hope everyone is able to understand this. Hope everyone is able to get this. This is very simple, and I believe you are able to understand everything that I've just illustrated here. So I've given you the formula for period. This is how you get to calculate period. So whenever you are given a question, you need to know this formula. This is the formula that we use. So we need to make sure that we know and understand this formula. Let us move to the other part. So the other part will be talking about frequency. So we'll be talking about frequency. These are only two things that you need to understand under simple pendulum: how to calculate period and how to calculate the frequency. So this is frequency. How do we define frequency? So frequency, I'm going to say frequency is the what? Number. Frequency is the number of oscillations. Number of oscillations made per second. Made per second. Per what? Per second. This is frequency. So this is the frequency of what? A pendulum. It's not any other frequency. So even when questions will be coming in your exams, they are going to specify, they are going to tell you, define frequency of a pendulum, period of a pendulum. So you give a definition according to what you are taught. We've got a lot of frequency. You can define frequency that is under wave motion, that is having its own definition. So we define according to how you are asked. You cannot have a question in general saying define frequency, no. But if a question comes under waves, then they're telling you to define a frequency, which means you are defining that according to wave motion. So even this frequency that I'm talking about here, this is frequency according to what? Simple pendulum. So number of oscillations made per what? Per second. So frequency now, it has got its own formula. Frequency is equal to what? Frequency is equal to 1 over period. This is the formula. Frequency is equal to what? Frequency is equal to 1 over period. So this capital letter T, you know that that is what? That is period. This is period. We know that it is what? It is period. Period in seconds. Then we've got the capital letter F there. What is the F there? What are we having on the F there? What are we having? So the capital letter F there, the capital letter F there, this is the frequency we want to find now. So that is the frequency, and it is measured in what? So that is the frequency. We know that it is frequency. It is measured in what? Hertz, like this. So now, These are two things that you need to know and understand. You need to know this formula. You need to understand these two, the period and the frequency. So now let us look at a question. Let us look at an exam question, how questions will be coming in your exams. So let us look at this question. Let us look at this question. I believe everyone is going to understand. Let us look at this question. This is a question that we are having here. How can we answer this question? So we are going to answer this question together. I'm going to make it very simple so that we all understand. So this is what we are given. So the question is saying, it takes 3 seconds to go from A to C. So from A to C, from point A to C, and back to B, and back to B. Find period and frequency of the pendulum. This is what we are given. This is the diagram here. So I'm told that it takes what? It takes 0.5. So the small t there, that is the time given, which is 3 what? 3 seconds. So it takes 3 seconds, that's the time. So it takes 3 seconds to move from A. When it moves from A to C and back to A. So you are told to find the period. Period is equal to T over N. Where you are going to say period is equal to, what is T? It is 3 over. What is N? N, I said that is a number of oscillations. So if you check here, it has moved from this point to this point, from here to there, then it has come back to point B, not A. So it has moved 3 distances. Here 1, 2, 3, like this. So if it moves from A to B, have you seen 1, 2, 3, 4? That's when it will come back to A. So now, if it has moved from A to B, this is 1 over 4. So the number of oscillations from A to B. So from A to B, then N is what? 1 over 4. Then from B to C, this is 2 over 4. So if a question was just telling us that it moved from A to C, then find the period. A to C, have you seen from A to C, the distance is this one. A to C, it is this one. And then C, from this one, C to B, it is 3 over 4. Have you seen? And then if it moved to there now, it is 4 over 4, which is 1, which is a complete oscillation. I don't know if you've gotten what I've said. Let me just repeat so that everyone understands. So moving from A to B, it is 1 over 4. So if you are moving from A to what? To B, N is equal to what? N is equal to 1 over 4. So if the question was just telling us that it moved from A to B, then N is 1 over 4. But if it was moving from A to C, then it is what? A to C, from here to there, it is 2 over 4. It is what? 2 over 4. Then the other thing is that it has now moved from where to where? It has moved from A to C, then B. N is what? It has moved from A to C, then come back to B, which is 3 over 4. The one that I've written here, so 3 over 4. This is what you need to understand. Then if it moved from A to C, C to A, that is a complete turn. So which is what? 1. We just say N is equals to 1 because it is a complete turn. So if it is moving from A to C, then C to A, that is a complete turn. But if it is moving from A to B, meaning n is 1 over 4. If it was moving from A to C, this will be applied on each and every question. What will be different is the time which is given. But the value of n, the same way I'm giving them, that's the same way you are supposed to answer them. Not that on another question you are supposed to do, no. The one which will be different, it is just the time. But everything will be the same. So in our question, we are told that it moved from A to C and back to B. A to C, then B, which is 3 over 4. 3 over what? 3 over 4. A 3 over 4 which is there. So now 3 over 4, we put it here. Since this is a fraction, so I just divide to my calculator. 3 divided by 4. What is my answer? My answer is what? My answer is 0.75. This 0.75, it is just the same as this one. So don't be confused. I've just said 3 divided by 4 so that I just write points there. Decimal numbers like this. Then I say 3 divided by 0.75. What am I getting? I'm getting 4. So then you put seconds. You are done. This is what you are supposed to do. So I want you to get this, and I want you to understand each and every question that you may encounter. This is what you need to do, and this is what you need to understand. Hope you've understood this part. So I want you to get this part, understand it clearly so that you are able to face any question that may come in your exams. So this is what you need to know and understand under period. Then we move to the other one. Let's move to the other question, which was telling us to find frequency. So you just say frequency is equal to 1 over period. Do you have the period? The answer is yes. So you say 1 over, what is your period? 4. So you put 1 over 4, which is equal to, period is 4. So 1 divided by 4. What is our answer? 0.25. 0.25. Units very important in physics is like this. So we've calculated the frequency and the period. This is what you need to know and understand. So I want everyone to get this. I want everyone to get this principle. So make sure you understand this. You get all the necessary concepts that you need to get. This is all you need to understand under the period of a pendulum. How to calculate the period and how to calculate the frequency. This is how we go about it, and this is how you will be answering questions. Let us now move to the other part. We are concluding this. So we are going to say that period of a pendulum depends on two things. So period, this is what you need to know. Period of a pendulum. So period of a pendulum depends on two things. Period of a pendulum depends. So depends on. So it depends on what? So the period of a pendulum depends on these two things. So period of a pendulum depends on, the first one is that it depends on the length. So it depends on the what? Length of a pendulum. So it depends on the length of the pendulum. So if you are told, state two factors that affect the period of a pendulum. So these are the same factors. The length of a pendulum. The other one is the what? Acceleration due to gravity. So the acceleration due to gravity can affect the period of a pendulum. Acceleration due to gravity. This is what you need to know and understand. So get this. I'm emphasizing on this. If a question comes, you are told that give two factors that affect the period of a pendulum. These are the two factors that you need to put. One, the length of a pendulum. Two, acceleration due to gravity. So these are the two things that will affect the period of a pendulum. What if you are told that there is also factors which do not affect the period of a pendulum? So we also have factors which do not affect the period of a pendulum. So we've got factors which do not affect the period of a pendulum. Period of a what? Of a pendulum. We've got factors which will not affect the period of a pendulum. So factors which do not affect the period of a pendulum, what are those factors? So factors which do not affect the period of a pendulum, it is the what? So these ones, one is the mass or shape of the bob. So I just want you to get this shape of the what? Shape of the bob, like this. So this is a factor which will not affect the period of a pendulum. So amongst the factors which do not affect the period of a pendulum, the most important thing that you need to know is the mass. Mass or shape of the bob will not affect the period of a pendulum. So get this and understand. I want you to understand this. You get all the necessary concepts under this. So for those that could like to start tuitions with me, should contact this line. This is my line. If you could like to start tuitions with me, this is my line. 0971 06 06 06 6747. This is my line. You can contact me on this line or WhatsApp me. Then I'll be able to help you with mathematics, chemistry, and physics at an affordable fee. Thank you so much. So we end here. Those under my online tuitions, let us now see how we are going to answer the exercise that I'm about to upload in the group. Let us see how we are going to answer it. We test our knowledge if we've understood what I've just shared. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to comment.